When I was younger, it was really scary and I wouldn't say anything. I would just deal with all the anxiety and then like let it out when I got home. But that gets harder and harder to do as you get older. I think your body just starts rebelling against that kind of system. It's like, when you were 24, fine, but we're done doing this now. My relationship with stress has evolved over my entire life. When I was younger, I would describe myself as someone who had a lot of energy. When I was a teenager, there were times where it would affect my performance, and I think that was the moment where I was like, oh, I think I have to really find things that work for me before I'm in front of an audience or I'm on stage, because this is really starting to control me, and I think it should be the other way around. But I really had to kind of figure that out on my own. I love working with the American Heart Association because it's an organization that's very personal to me. My father suffers from heart disease. We were very lucky that he worked a job in Manhattan that he walked like miles a day, and that ended up being the thing that saved his life. He had a quintuple bypass surgery when I was in college. As I got older and became an adult, my dad first question would always be, what was your cholesterol? Like, what were your numbers? So I care a lot about heart health. It's been a big part of my story personally. It's just something I care deeply about. Oh gosh, I wanna say I'm probably about 7 or 8. I'm very in my dance life. I probably at this age would have told you that I was going to be a professional dancer, singer, and florist. Home life, good. My mom was a stay-at-home mom. My dad worked in a jewelry store in Manhattan. I have an older brother. Normal childhood, just like pretty textbook. This is the age I remember being described as a very hyper kid and feeling like, you know, in gym class or certain social situations, like my body kind of buzzing from just like excess energy and probably anxiety. And being involved in the arts and performing so early was this blessing in disguise for stress and how it manifested in my body, because from a very early age, I had an outlet. Dance class wasn't just going in a room and like learning some moves. Like I can remember getting lost in the music, like getting lost in the movement, and just feeling that sense of calm. And I think that's why I was so into it, because it was hard for me to find those moments of calm. Woo! I am like 23, 22 in this picture. I'm at a professional event during my very first job, and gosh, this was kind of a tough phase, like a great phase of my life, but also a tough phase. That very first job was not a great environment for a young person and did quite a number on my confidence and my self-esteem. But this was also the time that I met my husband, and meeting him kind of just really brought a balance to all that hard stuff. I think this was the time where I physically felt stressed the most, sleeping poorly, finding some of those not so great habits to lean on, getting really good at distracting myself to not deal with things that were hard. There were many days I walked home just feeling like, oh, I just did the worst acting of my life, and people are gonna see it, they're gonna watch it, and I just have to like live with that. I wish I could tell her, protect your confidence more and not let that bad juju in as much. You're not terrible, you're a good actor. Mid to late 30s, I miss my boys. I think this is Mother's Day morning when they came to wake me up, being all cute. This phase of my life, there is something about becoming a mother that brought a lot of the confidence, I think, and self-esteem that I lost back into my life, because you have kids and you have no idea how much you're capable of actually doing in a day. and then you do it. And you're like, am I a badass? Am I like amazing? Because I can't believe how much I did today. And I kept 2 humans alive. And I went to work and I did a good job. And I'm having a great time at work, and I feel really good about stuff in my career. And so it's just kind of this moment where you're like, oh man, I wish I had known 10 years ago that I could do this much and be this good at it. My house is loud and chaotic, and every day is different, but it's kind of a really fun new chapter of life, juggling all these things. I've figured out how important it is prioritizing yourself to be your best self professionally and personally for the people in your life. Yoga's been a big thing that really grounds and centers me and reminds me that I do know how to breathe, and I do know how to be quiet, and I do know how to be like in the moment. And my dad, let's go for walks. That is something I got from him too. It's just like, go for a walk. Going for a walk is like so restorative. It can like reset your whole day. I'm actually trying to like teach my kids to do it too. Of just like, let's go for a walk. Like you're having a rough time right now. Let's walk. On set, gotten better at just speaking up for myself. The stress in your body, as soon as you say it, automatically comes down a little bit. And then you feel like you're in control again, and you then can do whatever it is, the breathing or the walking, or just like reorganize your thoughts, making everyone know that like right now you just need to take a deep breath. Yeah! This past February, I think? Yeah. I got to go to New York City to be in this beautiful fashion show for a great cause, American Heart Association. I definitely walked too fast across the stage. I definitely was shaking a little bit beforehand. The whole night was so fun. And I met all these amazing women, and we were all there for different reasons. Latino women being one of the most at-risk groups for heart disease was something I learned at this event. That's why I'm always so grateful to work with the American Heart Association. I always learn so much every time I do something with them. It made me think about the women in my family, and I think there is something cultural there. Show no weakness, and you know, you can handle anything, and everyone's in pain, you know? What is pain? You just live with it, you deal with it. It's like, no, you get it checked out. It's important to raise awareness about it. It's important for Latino women to talk about it, especially younger generations, to kind of just undo, I think, that kind of cultural stereotype. I'm really enjoying this phase of my life. I'm excited about my future professionally. I'm excited about getting to that sweet kid phase where my kids are a little bit bigger, and to be at a place in my life where I'm asked to do cool stuff like this is pretty great. I think the advice I would give anyone who deals with a lot of stress is to just find the things that work for you, because it really is different for everyone. For me, breathing, yoga, meditation, exercise, eating, like those are all good things to even try and start with, for sure. And I think just being brave enough to try, and that's half the battle right there. Is like, I am just gonna try to really manage the stress and figure out, how can I sleep better? How can I eat better? How can I fit in more exercise? Start with those basic things, and then from there, get really specific. Because I think for everyone, there's always like something kind of magical and specific that works for them.